Assalamu alaikum. This is the constitutional advocate Quraysh King, and today is the 22nd of the October, and this is the afternoon time and evening time roundabout. So, as per my daily routines, I tend to be very busy while doing the constitutional cases online. So I have heard about the constitutional amendment and other reciprocating issues in the Pakistan, that which are the issues, civil issues, criminal issues, and the constitutional issues in the Pakistan. After observing the fluctuations of the population rate or the growth rate, you can observe the cyber crimes in the pretext of the social media applications that around about 90 to 80% of the females and male, irrespective of their gender, are confined themselves into the multi-dimensional course narrative or defective issues in the Pakistan, and they don't have to consider, and they are not considering their basic problems like human problems, and they are trying to solve that, whether they are whether they are capable of doing their things, or they are incapable of calculating the things in the right accurate control. So after observing that in Pakistan, Middle East, other countries, the law and order situation is pathetic. I have heard about the constitutional amendment. The whole of the Pakistanis and the other Indians, those individuals who have no knowledge regarding the law institutions, are condemning the constitutional amendment. But I favor that amendment because proposed amendment is totally in favor of the institutions rather than individualism. The old and the biased groups of the individuals who have no knowledge regarding the law and order in Pakistan are trying to betray the institutions in order to, because this is the modern age and we need to amend the laws in order to rely on the factual opinions of the civil and the criminal and the reciprocating matters of the public. So this is the need of the hour, and I admire this proper legislation in the reconciliation mode of assessment to the Pakistani residents especially. It is wholly the interest of the Pakistanis. Despite of that, it is nothing, and we have to consider these things, that whether we are considering such elements to be addressed to the public, or we are trying to confront the public issues. So meanwhile, I observe such issues. Every third class type of individual who have no grip over the constructive or concurrent applications of mind into the legal battles in the public sector, condemning the biasness or partiality of the amendment constitutional one. They consider that, I consider that it is obligatory to have the courts outside the territorial courts of the ordinary jurisdiction, because the civil courts, the session court, the Supreme Court of the Pakistan, they are highly influenced through the patriarchy of their relationships, and we want such change in the judicial reforms bill or in the legislative reforms bill in the Pakistan, that we want such individuals in the Pakistan who deliberately and willingly, with consent of their own soul, can reform the public department. But the retrospective working individuals in the Pakistan who have experience, who can tolerate the brutalities of the individuals regarding the flexible challenges of the civil inspection rights. So I prefer that this is a this law, that the amendment in the Constitution, and there must be the Supreme Judicial Councils very separate to the other reciprocating departments, likewise the high courts or civil courts, because the high courts and the civil courts are full of those individuals. I consider this 75% of those individuals who have their relationships reciprocating. They have married their daughters, sons, and predecessors in interest, or a successor in interest. In this way, they are calculating the profit and loss accounts to their personal bank accounts. So this becomes an open challengeable thought under the constitutional article 187, that for those individuals who said that this is against the law and there is no justice who can condemn the act of the parliament or the national assembly, because they don't have the power as to set aside the parliamentary committee legislations, because they only can pronounce judgment in such a way which were produced in front of them in their table desk under the judicial duty or obligation. Behind all these things, they don't have any scope and power as to decline the legislation, because according to the constitutional squares in the Pakistan, if anyone who is working in the institution and is trying to override the powers construed under its stable or working domain, thereafter there is no need of urgency regarding the such factual disobedience. So one can be very redressed with the public that if the legislation in Pakistan appears to be totally biased and totally neglected, therefore we have to carry forward that the neglection into the legislation is not being accommodated by the Supreme Judicial Councils and the reciprocating department, because it is the need of the hour as to provide the reciprocating services, the constitutional services, in the accurate length of control for those individuals who have not working under the judicial norms in the society. So prior to my statement, there were no institution which were rendering its services under the constitutional squares, because as I said that it is in the Pakistan there is no proper law regarding the registry civil cases. There is no proper law as far as my concern is being recognized in this video, that there is no law which can dictate that this is my landmark question which is being raised by myself, that whether a paper can become document. This should be construed. In Pakistan, the paper less litigation appears to be confined in the public sector. The digitalized computer legislation is the need of the hour through the Supreme Judicial Councils, through the Parliamentary Committee, through the other Senate, National Assembly, and the other organs, individuals who are just raising their slogans because they have a reciprocating prerogative capital in trust regarding the failures of their second time, third time work businesses or the enterprises which they carry forward in the name of the humanity. So they are raising their slogans because their businesses are downfalling under the influence of the constitutional amendment. Stay blessed.